MP4.
All right, welcome to this episode of Cheema Connect. I'm joined by my friends Harman and Cheema, Jeff Frizzle. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing great. How you doing, JT?
Doing amazing. We should do this more often. I haven't seen you guys in a while.
I've been busy.
I know you've been busy. You said you've been living out of a suitcase.
Something like that.
Something like that, man. Well, it's good to have you for a minute. We've got a lot to unpack in a short amount of time. I want to make sure to take this opportunity to just get surgical. To get surgical with the two of you, to look at our operations, to share some exciting things out with our team and our support group out there. So let's jump right in.
Let's roll.
Let's talk about a market update. If you guys want to take a minute and let me know what's going on in the market right now, what kinds of things that we're seeing as far as freight volumes, new business, growth with old business. Fill in the blanks. What do we got going on?
I feel like freight's starting to pick up a little bit. And it's getting a little bit busier in some pockets. There's still some pockets that slow down occasionally here and there. It's getting better. It's more consistent, but there's still some pockets of slowdown for sure. So we brought on a ton of new business. It's like, imagine bringing all these groceries in to the kitchen and now you're trying to make something of it. So that's what we've been doing. We've been busy from a sales standpoint, just bringing it all in, figuring out, and now we're trying to put it all together, figure out what freight works best for us, best for our drivers, and just, new commitments and new lanes. And so we're excited about that. But it's definitely surgical, as you put it, right?
Yeah. We got to identify probably good head haul, good back haul.
Yep.
Get you back into the markets where you want your drivers, where drivers are home, or back to the front of the line so they can get that next load out from that shipper.
Yep.
I know we've talked about engineering freight, like trying to pair stuff up to tour drivers out where we can.
We're trying our best to do as much engineering as possible, but the busiest parts of the network are definitely Southern California. Arizona's been busy and on fire, no pun intended, with the weather down there.
105 degrees this weekend.
Yeah, it's been like 115.
Jeez.
So, so it's been, we're trying to put that together. The southwestern part of the country that we service has been a lot busier than the north. Northern California has been fairly busy as well. Some of the different pockets that we go into the mountain states have been busier. But for the most part, we can't get enough trucks to Southern California and Arizona right now. Can't get enough freight inbound to continue to feed the beast down there with all the new opportunities that we're able to bring on for our drivers. So,
well, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
It's busy down there.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I know a lot of drivers are like, I don't want to go to Southern California, traffic, all that, but that's the freight capital of the West.
Yeah.
Like, we got to go there. That's where the freight is, and that's where we're going to get the best rate per mile for the company so we can continue to keep doing what we're doing. And as you may know, a lot of companies are struggling right now. I know we talked about it a few times, but even a lot of our competitors, several of our competitors, the big guys, different colored fleets, have lowered wages. You know that?
Yeah.
So
I hear it every week in orientation. They'll come in, they left their previous company, they said, my last company, they took my cents per mile down.
Yeah.
I can't eat off of that.
Yeah, so whether you're red, blue, and we're definitely green here, right? So we're not going to do that. That's what we're going to make sure that, I can't give raises. Unfortunately, I get some of those questions because there's just not anything there to give right now. But, whatever we did during the past several years, we're going to make sure we maintain it. And when we're cutting cost to try to keep things going in this freight network, driver pay is definitely not the item we're looking at. We're looking at other efficiencies.
Yep.
So that's my commitment to our drivers.
Yeah. So we got to identify those.
Yeah, totally.
Ways to run more efficiently. Do what we do better.
Right.
Smarter. Let me pass it over to Frizz. Let me ask to you, when we talk about our existing core customers, the lanes that we've added, some of the new business that we've gotten, how does service fold into all of that?
Well, honestly, every single customer that we're doing business with right now provides some sort of feedback through a scorecard. Okay. So we either get those once a week, we get them once a month, and then we'll have calls with them to review our service. Okay. So a lot of this has to be high levels of service to either maintain the business, or what we want to do, of course, is increase any type of rates. So,
Frizz, what's high level service? Is that like 70%?
No.
75?
That'll get you kicked out.
Wow. 80?
That'll still get you kicked out.
Wow, all right.
So you got to be 95 at least, if
So
not
that's
98%.
So you're telling me if we're getting 100 loads from a shipper in a week, we can only afford to maybe be late on 4 or 5.
Exactly.
At the most.
Even
At the
95
most.
is not enough for a lot of shippers,
It'll
right?
keep you in some of the game, but no, it needs to be 98 or above.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
So really, we can only afford to be late on 1 or 2.
right, out of 100.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So it requires a lot of coordination internally, and it requires the drivers to make sure they're on time. So we've added some things to our driver line agreement that we do for our over-the-road drivers. So we did add one bullet point in there that does say that there, on a monthly basis, cannot be any preventable driver-related failures.
Right.
So, Jamie, what would you consider a driver preventable failure?
Overslept, miscalculated my trip plan, or didn't even look at my available hours, and I ran out of hours and didn't have enough hours to finish my run.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Yep. So, for most of the fleet, that's not an issue, but we do have it as a requirement now. There's no sense paying a bonus if we got drivers that are, failing freight because it's driver related. So that'll be a talking point that all the driver managers are going through right now. And we're going to send out a revised driver agreement through 10th Street, right? You're going to send an email out.
Yep.
So those will be ready soon. You guys will get an email. You can review it. Nothing else has changed in there as far as the bonus program. It's just that one line item that we
So,
added in there.
Frizz, tell me, if I'm a driver, should I be super concerned now that, oh my God, they're finding ways to take my bonus away?
Absolutely not. No. We just are trying to hold everyone accountable. So the office staff, when we're booking the loads, when we're scheduling them, when we're planning them, we got to make sure we're on our game, but then also once it's to the driver and it's under their control, then make sure it's on time.
Yeah, and I know, this is going out to the public, right? We're on YouTube and all that, so everybody will see this, even our competitors and our customers and our current drivers and our good drivers and a lot of the drivers that have been here for a long time. Hope you appreciate this, but we've voluntarily termed a lot of drivers last few weeks because they just didn't give a crap, right? And they were like, nope, I don't care. I'm just going to be late, constantly late. We're not getting rid of 200 drivers like maybe some of our competitors have in the past, but we're getting rid of some of the low-hanging fruit for the drivers that just don't give a crap. And because we're all here to do a good job, have a good opportunity, have a good career for our drivers. The only way we can do that is if we're able to maintain the good business for our customers, deliver service on time to them, so we can continue to have these good lanes and good runs for our customers. So, and if you're drivers that just don't care and you're going to oversleep and you're going to do all these things, I get it. Things happen. We're all humans, right? And we'll definitely consider that. This is not black and white. None of this, everything will be looked at, right, before we do some of these things. But at the same time, we get paid to deliver freight from point A to point B on time, right? When we buy something from Amazon or something and, we like to see where it's coming and it's on time, speed of service, right? So, yeah, we're going to be making some investments. We're looking for a bigger yard in Southern California to try to keep things moving when, sometimes we're in there too early and we got some time on the load. Maybe we can turn you quicker, right? Not every time, of course, but if we can find a way to still deliver that load on time, there's something else you can do to keep moving, we're going to do those things. With that, we're even got some parking space in Las Vegas.
Absolutely.
Right? So we had some drivers, a bunch of drivers living out in Vegas, and we didn't really have a drop yard. We were kind of sharing with another partner carrier, a friend of mine, here and there, but for the most part, I was down there earlier this week, and we found a spot to park our trucks and maybe turn some loads and some of those things as well. So we're making investments to keep things moving and keep things rolling. But service is, why we're here and what our customers pay us for, and we got to make sure we do a good job.
That's right. And things will happen, right? Construction, weather delays in the winter especially, and all that requires is extra communication, right? But we're talking about obvious preventable situations where there's an overslept situation that's clearly an at-fault situation that could have been made right. I actually get a lot in driver orientation. Drivers come through as we walk through the driver monthly bonus program. They're like, oh, you guys are paying a bonus. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. They're surprised that we haven't up until now been qualifying that with an element of service.
Yeah, most fleets took away bonuses already, right?
And again, I don't want this to get lost in this conversation at all, that we pay almost more bonuses every month than we did the previous month because of just how many drivers are out there crushing it, getting the miles, and doing a good job hauling freight. And so we celebrate that every month. And what's cool about how we deploy that is that your team in operations, they're charged with communicating that out to their drivers.
Right.
They reach out, say, congratulations, you got the bonus, I'm really proud, keep up the good work. Or if guys are just off the mark, they can coach them up and say, hey, you were short by 50 miles. If we can get you there next month, let's push a little harder and get you that bonus so that you can be counted with those that received it. So we celebrate our successes as a team, which is very cool.
So
We should also just mention real quick with this change on the agreement here is we're going to use the month of July as really feedback sessions. So if there's an instance where a driver has an issue that could be driver related, we're going to talk to them about it, coach them up, tell them what happened, and then August 1st we'll go live with this change on that bonus program.
So July 1st we're live, but we're not going to really do anything with it. We're
So
just more
1st.
of a trial.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
Cool. Smart deployment. I like that.
But
Go ahead.
Talking about service, are you done with service, or if we got more?
No, we're good on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think just from a service standpoint, for service to our drivers, right? We've been getting a lot of, hey, we're not getting the phone calls answered. We're not getting some of those things. Yeah, we're busier, we're growing. So yeah, there's a lot more phone calls coming in. So, try to use your tablets as much as you can. But what we're doing is, can't share this just yet, but we're looking at some new phone systems right now to deploy to hopefully make that driver experience better. So as a service to you as the drivers.
Fantastic. It's great to hear. Frizz, you had some things you wanted to share out regarding bill lading and paperwork.
Yeah, so any customer that you're working with, if you get to a delivery location where they've unloaded the freight, you should always look at the paperwork. If there is any type of overage, shortage, or damage, OS&D, of course, if it's damaged product, we got to get it taken care of as quickly as possible. If it's a overage, the customer's going to work with us on that. But where we find a problem is on a shortage. So if you pick up a preloaded trailer, you make the delivery, it's sealed when you picked it up, you go to the delivery location, especially if it's at a Costco location, and they find there's a shortage, pay attention to the paperwork. Yeah. There's a number on there you should be calling, especially for one of our paper shippers. They require you to call that number at the receiver before you leave to report it. They'll give you a number, and then it's all reported through them as well. So that's very, very important. We'll show you a screenshot here of how that looks to have the understanding of exactly what those numbers are to call, or number to call. And as long as you do it before you leave, we're in good shape.
Cool.
But what happens is if you don't report that, then about 60 to 90 days later, we get a bill for that shortage. And even though that wasn't our fault, because we didn't call it when it happened, we get charged for it.
Yeah, because we didn't follow policy.
Exactly.
For the
Is
customer.
that why I have like 15 claims sitting on my desk?
Yeah, and they can be anywhere from $100 to $1,200. So we're in the hole on a lot of this. So paying attention to that at the receiver is very, very important. So
And I'd rather pay that money to you guys and drivers,
Exactly.
And bonuses and whatnot than pay for shortages and stuff that we actually didn't even do anything with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we didn't follow some clerical rules, right?
And taking that one step farther, that was an example of a shortage. But anytime you got damaged product that's refused, or overage, the opposite of shortage, right? We want to report that through the same channels to our OS&D so that we can get that trailer empty for you, right?
Yes.
It's one thing to I got to get rid of this trailer so I can get on with my next load. But if you can just get that product off of that trailer, that's what we want to do. If you get us a call, let your driver manager know, they'll escalate it up through customer service. They can find a way to get that product off the trailer, whether they find a local LTL to take care of it, whether they give us permission to destroy it or donate it. That's their prerogative, but we got to give them kind of the right of first refusal. And ultimately, the goal is to get that trailer empty for you to take onto your next load.
Right. And speaking of trailers, we've had, just as a reminder for the whole group, please don't park under a trailer when you go on home time, because that trailer is then tied up for 2 or 3 days. Other drivers are out there looking for empties. Don't put a seal on it to reserve it.
Yeah.
And then if you need to bobtail into a customer, let your driver manager or the planner tell you where to go. Don't just go into a customer, because we're required to keep our pools at a certain number for trailers that are in there, and we don't want to deplete that by going in there and bobtailing in for no reason.
And that's the only way we get more freight is if they have trailers there for them to preload, right?
Exactly.
So I'm sure a lot of our drivers have been to locations where their load was supposed to be preloaded. You get there, they're like, oh, we're behind, we're working on it right now, or we didn't have enough empties to preload. Well, that's because we were bobtailing in. And, sometimes that's not always the driver's fault because of a certain market. It could be another consignee or another receiver that's holding trailers. But at the same time, we got to do our job to try to make sure we're always taking an empty into our pools so then the process keeps flowing, right? And we've got the technology in here. You just have to call your driver manager to, find out where the empties are. And we have cargo sensors. We have... we can see where trailers are. We've got GPS and all those things. And we just rented a ton more trailers again to help our pools.
Yeah.
And so, but if your driver manager is saying, I can't do it, I can't find your trailer or whatever, then escalate to us and let us know that that's happening, and we'll take care of that. Maybe, they're a new driver manager, they don't know, they should, but if we have an issue there, we'll let you know because we have the tools here to be able to find empties for you.
Yeah. And take that point one step farther, getting back to not staying hooked under empty trailers over a reset or over a weekend. Those trailers aren't making money if they're empty.
Right.
Right? They're making money when they're loaded. So if you're staying parked under a trailer, you're robbing this company of that trailer making money and being a revenue generating trailer over a weekend or over a reset. So just to drive the point home, absolutely make sure you unhook from those trailers when you're parked for the weekend or on your home reset.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I want to provide an update.
Even owner-operators.
Even owner-operators?
Yeah.
Okay, you heard it. I want to give everybody an update on our massive ELD deployment. We have undertaken so many great enhancements in the last, it's just been a year. We've enhanced, we've upgraded our dispatch software, our LMS. Our LME, sorry. We have updated our ELD. That's what we're doing right now. I'm missing one. Oh, our maintenance software. Thank you. And the ELD is still kind of being finished. We're kind of like rounding third and going for home. And we're about 85% deployed right now. So we got a couple trucks still to get in to finish that off. But we're pretty excited about all the features and enhancements of this new ELD. Just to highlight a few, this device has the capability to do automation, which is going to save a little bit of pain and suffering for our drivers, fewer keystrokes. So when they pull in to their shipper, it's going to automatically take their GPS location and in concert with like the geofence for that customer, and once they enter that geofence, it's going to automatically trigger an arrival call. Same thing when they exit that geofence, it'll automatically trigger a departure call. And
But they still got to do a loaded call.
Absolutely. They'll do a loaded call at the shipper, they'll do an empty call at the delivery, but some of those automations take some of the keystrokes out of the equation for the driver. So there's a little bit less to do. They'll still need to make sure it's sent. There's going to be times when that geofence, the customer might be here and the geofence is here. They might need to let us know so we can recalibrate that geofence. But as we stay on the system longer and longer, those fine adjustments will be made. But that's cool. That kind of automation is cool. Just want to make sure they're setting those in, setting in their loaded calls. And it's also able to auto dispatch the driver. So when they've completed all their stop updates, it'll automatically dispatch them on their next pre-plan without having to wait on a human being to pull the trigger in an office in front of a computer somewhere.
So Jamie, why does if my load on my platform science is stuck in, I don't know what they call it, in not inactive.
Workflow.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And it's not going to active and I got no loads on me, I've got nothing inactive, like what's the cause of that?
There's a couple reasons that could happen. So if you have a load that's still inactive and it hasn't moved out of active, the first thing you want to do is go into your view, look at all the tasks and make sure you've completed all the tasks for the shipper and all the tasks for the delivery customer, the consignee, because they're stacked kind of on top of one another. The first stop is your shipper, wherever you picked up the load.
We should put a screenshot of that on here.
And below that, absolutely. Let's get a screenshot on the screen right now.
There you go.
And you can't advance in the task until the previous task has been completed. I can't send a loaded call until the arrival call has been sent. I can't send a departure call until the loaded call has been sent. And so if I'm expecting automation on my arrival call when I get to my delivery, well, if I didn't finish my loaded call or any of my stop
it's not gonna
updates for the shipper, it won't follow suit. It won't auto trigger my arrival call. And so some drivers are missing that because maybe they're not scrolling down to see all of that, or maybe they just simply don't know, and then the load will end up getting stuck somehow and they just ask somebody in the office to pull it off of them so they can get on to their next one because now they're behind. So the easy way to do that is to look at your active load. Again, jump over to the view so you can see the task. Look at that checklist on the left and make sure you're checking them off as you go. It automatically will check them off once you complete the arrival call, the loaded call, the departure call for each stop.
And the other part is if you broke the workflow anywhere, just like you're mentioning, it will not keep going, right? So if you call in and the driver manager in here does your arrival calls and departure calls for you, it'll break the workflow. Then we have to manually send you the next workflow, right? That's why it's happening. So if you're getting frustrated and saying, this new system is whatever, that's because you're doing it wrong and you need some more training. So see Jamie.
Yeah, see my team. We've got representatives at all of our terminal locations and that's what we do. We train drivers. So come in and see us if you need a little bit of extra coaching. We'd be happy to provide that for you. A couple other highlights real quickly with the new ELD, not just automation, we've got navigation now. So now that'll guide you turn by turn on a truck route to get from point A to point Z, your destination. We've also got new apps, some of the apps that our drivers love. CAT Scale Weigh My Truck app, Transform Mobile Plus app. We've got cab support, so if we need to see what's going on with your tablet, we can get permission from you to jump in and look at your screen. That's pretty great. And any other feedback you might have for us on other apps you think would be advantageous to have, let us know. We'll weigh the pros and cons, and maybe you'll see that on here next time we meet.
So Jamie, for the drivers that don't have this tablet in their truck currently, and they still need to get it installed, about 15% of the drivers left, what do they expect as far as like they get it installed in the truck? How long does it take for training?
Absolutely. Well, in an ideal situation, if you let your driver manager know, hey, I'll be at one of the 2 terminals for install tomorrow or the next day, they'll put it on a schedule. If we see you coming, the shop can plan for you. They'll get you in and out with your install in an hour. There's also a training with one of the members of my team or safety, and that training takes about the same amount of time. So if we know in advance when you'll be to one of those terminals, either Pacific Washington or Lathrop, California is where we do primary installation and training, let us know. We can get you in and out optimally in an hour.
So what's the goal to get 100% deployed?
July 1st, Harman. I know, the clock is ticking. We're down to the last 15%, and I've been doing it all day today and yesterday. So have been my teammates and driver services and safety, so we're crushing it. But yep, we're looking right there at that deadline, and we're hopeful to get it done pretty quickly.
So if you're wondering what Jamie does, there you go.
Yeah. Training, and more training. So let's talk about those tablets. Your bro had a special request that we not fail to include this conversation as far as taking good care of these tablets. Brand new, state-of-the-art, high-tech equipment. This is an investment, by the way. Some people are like, why are you guys changing the ELD? Well, we found the ceiling of what the previous provider could do, and we wanted to break through that. We got plans for the future of this company, and we want to make sure that we give you all the bells and whistles you deserve to make your job easier and more efficient, like we were talking about efficiencies earlier. And so this is an investment in a new product.
For a better driver experience.
For a better driver experience.
So don't chuck the tablets.
Don't chuck the tablets. The net is don't chuck them.
Or the ground, because we've already broke several, and they cost almost $1,000 to replace. And we've broke several, like, I think, more than a dozen.
Yeah.
Broken more than a dozen. So please take care of these tablets like they were your own. If I could, and you break it purposely, I should charge you for it. But I don't know if I could do that.
Company equipment,
yeah.
Right? They are in protective cases, so they are durable, but we just got to be a little bit careful when we're walking around with them. If you drop them on a rock or on concrete or on pavement, they're bound to get fractured. The screens will break. And so just be careful with that. Know that. Handle with care. And we appreciate you paying extra attention to that. Let's talk about Lathrop. Everybody's all excited. It's a little chaotic, but it's even more exciting. What's going on in Lathrop, California at our terminal down there?
It's busy. A lot of construction going on. The road is closed to get in, so you got to go around. So it's a little chaotic. You know, but it's all going to be good once it's done, and we're getting close. We're about the north lot is paved, where all those McKinney rentals have been sitting for a little bit. The shop back there is done. They're working on the rest of the pavement up over there. They're working on sidewalks outside. The south lot is paved. The middle lot is left, and then they're going to start having plans, or they're going to start putting up the big building that we've been all waiting for. So the goal is to have it done before the end of the year, and have a state-of-the-art facility for all of our drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. A lot of paving going on. So it's been a dirt lot. But now 2 of the 3 super lots have been paved.
Right.
And there's a temporary structure that's been erected and built and is going to be utilized. And then that 3rd lot is going to be paved imminently, right? The primary lot, that's next. That's on deck to be paved next.
And it should be starting here real soon. So got some things we're working on there, and then they'll be starting that. So we'll be excited for that. I know the south lot is kind of what we're using today, and it's a little tight, but you know, it's we'll get through it.
Yeah.
And actually the driveway just changed.
Yep.
So keep in mind when you're coming up, just be cautious. Slow down and just watch where you're going, because the temporary driveway is changing again. So it'll probably change again until we get the final driveway done.
So in addition to our construction project, the city's doing some work around us at the same time, and so that's added a little nuance to the complexity.
Did you know,
of this
Jamie,
project.
that so our Lathrop terminal is on McKinley Avenue, and that now McKinley. Obviously, we can't get left right now, but once it opens up and our street on Louisa McKinley opens up, you can go McKinley all the way down through Manteca to go to the 120. That exit is open.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah. So now to get to the I-5, or you can go Louisa to get to the I-5, and you can go McKinley straight down to get to the 120.
Nice.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
It's gonna save a lot of time.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I know that there is a message we want to remind our drivers as far as like the concrete pads in our landing gear.
Yeah, so when you pull in the lot, you can see the concrete strips for the landing pads and the trailers. And unfortunately, we can show you some pictures here of drivers that for some reason didn't park on them. So if you don't understand why those are there, those trailers will sink in that asphalt, especially with it being so hot down there. It's 100 plus, right? So use those landing pads. Just drop the landing gear right there on those pads. That's cement part of the yard.
I think
and
the
we'll be fine.
landing pad is like 10 feet wide.
Yeah, they're not small.
So
no, you're not
if
gonna
you're
miss
missing those, I don't know. Maybe we need to re-drive test you.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
How about the yard itself, Harman? Have people been keeping it clean?
No.
Really? How come?
You tell me.
Are there not garbage cans around and canisters? Yep.
Yeah, there's garbage cans. I mean, just respect. We're spending a lot of money on this stuff to make it a better experience for everybody here. And so just, clean up after yourself. It's not, your mom isn't there to clean up after you, right? Why do I got to deliver all the bad news? People are going to think I'm a mean guy.
You're a nice guy. It's just your turn.
But just, just keep it clean and, and clean up and use the dumpsters. So, and if there's something you need that's not available, let us know and we'll make it available.
Yeah. Well, I think the important message is take pride in the equipment. Take care of the tablet, this great technology that we've made available to you. Take pride in the equipment. Don't let it be a dumpster, inside and outside of the truck. Keep it clean. I mean, those trucks are so beautiful.
Yep.
Those trucks are so beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous, but it only takes a couple layers of dirt to take that shine away. So, we pay for truck washes. Let's take advantage of that. We have a wash company on site at Lathrop every
Monday.
week. Free washes for their drivers that come through. So take advantage of that. But take pride in the equipment. Take pride in the way your truck looks. Take pride in the terminal amenities and facilities that we invest in for you.
Respect the equipment.
Respect the equipment. Let's talk about Phoenix. Let's talk about what's going on down there. We acquired.
Speaking of the heat.
Yeah, speaking of heat, it's hot down there right now, guaranteed. I know we acquired our terminal earlier this year, but we've been kind of holding back on opening the driver's lounge because we've been doing some remodeling.
Right.
So where's that at?
So the offices are done. We actually have Rob and Dwayne down there now that are on site. So that's good. We're working on getting the driver's lounge with some furniture and all that stuff opened up real soon. So we'll have that available. I don't think it'll be 24/7 just yet, but at least during business hours you'll be able to use it, and a restroom. So that's like phase one of the bigger project. If and we've got some feedback saying, hey, it's not big enough for the world domination plans we have in Phoenix. Yeah, we know. So, but if you look at the dirt in the back, we're going to start hopefully working on getting that developed and getting that paved. So we're actively working on that now. We're going to work on getting a shop down there and better driver facilities altogether. So, if you don't believe me, look what we're doing in Lathrop. So it's coming.
Yep. If you don't believe us, wait a couple months.
Yeah.
You'll see for yourself. Thanks for that update. Something that is near and dear to my heart, Driver Appreciation Week. It's right around the corner. It's the third week of September, but that's not enough for us. We're actually going to take 2 weeks and celebrate. I mean, we celebrate our drivers 52 weeks of the year, let's be honest. We have amazing drivers. I talked to a whole bunch of them just this morning. But Driver Appreciation Week is recognized the third week of September. We're going to announce our dates of celebration, but we will start in the Pacific Northwest here in Pacific Washington and work our way south. So we'll spend a couple days up here, a couple days in Albany, several days down in Lathrop. We'll get the llama when we get through Oregon. We'll feed our drivers. We've got plenty of swag to share out and to gift out to our drivers. But to us, it's just the best time to just spend time sitting down or standing up, sharing a meal, sharing some conversations, just appreciating all that they do for us, restocking the shelves of America.
That's right.
And
We're not getting to Phoenix this year, right?
Not doing Phoenix this year. We're not quite there yet, but we'll look forward to adding that in our plans for future years.
That'll be sweet. So I'm going to try to make sure I attend as many of those as we can and just be able to chop it up with y'all. Probably get y'all some tacos, right?
There will definitely be tacos.
Yeah.
We'll probably lose drivers if we don't have tacos. You know who I'm talking about. You want to drive for the elite fleet on the West? I bet you do. Check us out if you want to apply. Go to teamcheema.com or call one of our recruiting specialists at 844-424-3362. This has been a fun episode.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Thanks for all your company insights. Thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and thank you for removing America.
Thank you.
See ya. Thank you.
Gamma MD4.